Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to review this album from Bob Dylan called Desire, which came out January the 5th, 1976, although on the record itself it says 1975, so obviously recorded in 75. It was the follow-up to Blood on the Tracks from about a year earlier, and a very worthy follow-up. And what's noticeable about this album is he collaborates with Jack Levy on the lyrics on all but two of the tracks, and not often that Dylan did that because he's such a great lyricist himself, but the results are quite astounding and in most cases quite brilliant. First of all, what a great cover. It's the back cover, and the inner sleeve, and some words of wisdom from Allen Ginsberg here, which are pretty incomprehensible, and standard CBS label. Interestingly enough, this record was produced by Don DeVito, but on the record, I only just noticed it says this record could have been produced by Don DeVito. So I'm not sure what that means. I know the production on this album is, it's far from slick. It's apparently the sessions were quite chaotic, quite a lot of people involved, and various people came through, like Eric Clapton, and said, I think you should work with a smaller band. And I don't know how it eventually turned out, but I mean the record sounds pretty damn good, good feel to it. Not that polished, but it doesn't matter. Emmylou Harris is on backing vocals, does a great job. Scarlett Rivera on violin, superb. I think he just met her, he just bumped into her on the street with her violin case and said, "Do you want to play a few songs with me?" That was a very fortuitous meeting. Howard Wyeth on drums, Rob Stoner on bass. So, good band, and those were the musicians who went on tour with him on the Rolling Thunder tour, which had already started by the time this album came out. So the first song is Hurricane, which is a tribute to the boxer Reuben Carter, who was tried for a triple murder back in 1965-66 and convicted, and Dylan is protesting his innocence, and pretty strongly protesting his innocence, and good words. And apparently Hurricane Carter was eventually released but not until 1985, and Dylan went to meet him in prison, and I don't know the whole story, but it's a pretty gripping song. Great violin from Scarlett Rivera, and I'm not sure if it was a single, but it's a pretty commercial sounding opener to the album. And then Isis, the next track, full of Egyptian imagery and great words, again in conjunction with Jack Levy. Dylan plays piano on this one, which is quite a rare occurrence. He played piano occasionally on things like Father of Night from New Morning, but not often was he playing. Not that the piano is difficult on this track, but anyway, it's good sound to it, and great words. And I love the bit where he comes back from his adventures and then bumps into his lady, and she was there in the meadow where the creek used to rise, blinded by sleep and in need of a bed. I came in from the east with the sun in my eyes. I cursed her one time, then I rode on ahead. She said, "Where you been?" I said, "No place special." She said, "You look different." I said, "Well, I guess." She said, "You've been gone." I said, "That's only natural." She said, "You gonna stay?" I said, "If you want me to, yes." That's pretty damn captivating lyrics, and showed that where his heart was in terms of, I assume, in terms of Sarah. Sadly, they did end up getting divorced, but this album has got a few songs where he's trying to repair the damage, and that was one of them. Mozambique is next, and this started off apparently as a joke between Jack Levy and Dylan about how many things they could get to rhyme with Mozambique. So like Cheek to Cheek and Final Peak stuff. But it's a great song, great great groove to it, great bass comes in the second verse, and great middle eight, and I love the feel of this song. And then this brings us on to One More Cup of Coffee, which is one of the solo tracks from Dylan on this album, no collaboration with Jack Levy. So he wrote the words to this, and they're just absolutely brilliant. This is a top draw Dylan song, and he did this in concert quite a bit at the time and subsequently. And all three verses are brilliant. I'll just read you the third one. Your sister sees the future like your mama and yourself. You've never learned to read or write. There's no books upon your shelf. And your pleasure knows no limits. Your voice is like a meadow lark, but your heart is like an ocean, mysterious and dark. Great. That side one closes with Oh Sister, which is a kind of gospel-flavoured song, probably addressed to a lady, but invokes some images of God and stuff, and there's very, very good tune, and great violin from Scarlett again. Very well sung, this from Bob, and another concert favourite for a long time, this one. And then side two opens with Joey, which is kind of tribute to sort of gangster type guy from Joey. This is not everyone's favourite, and this actually replaced a track called Abandoned Love, which was going to be on the album. I replaced it at the last minute. By the way, Abandoned Love is great. It eventually came out on the bootleg series. Joey is possibly over long, but a very captivating story song, and very sad words, particularly sad in view of what's just happened in Paris on Saturday night. Yeah, it's a great song. I love it. And Romance in Durango is next. It's kind of South American flavour to it. Not my favourite on the album. But again, decent musicianship, decent words. Now, Black Diamond Bay, which is next, is one of my favourites, and is maybe the all-time story song from Dylan. Again, in collaboration with Jack Levy, so they could both take credit for this wonderful story song, this adventure with all these characters, and there's a lot of humour in the lyrics, and I love the way it ends. I was sitting home alone one night in LA, watching old Cronkite on the 7 o'clock news. Seems that there was an earthquake, left nothing but a Panama hat and a pair of old Greek shoes. Didn't seem like much was happening, so I turned it off and went to grab another beer. Seems like every time you turn around there's another hard luck story that you're gonna hear. And there's really nothing anyone can say, and I never did plan to go anyway to Black Diamond Bay. Great. I wish Black Diamond Bay existed. I'd like to go on holiday there. Sounds like a fun place, despite the earthquake. So we have the final song, Sarah, written by Dylan alone, and a very pained song to Sarah, his wife at the time, who he was going through a separation from. Very heartfelt. Rare. It was very rare for Dylan to be so obviously referring to his personal life, not even slightly obliquely, just full on. Now the beach is deserted, except for some kelp and a piece of old ship that lies on the shore. You always responded when I needed your help. You give me a map and a key to your door. Every verse is full of gems like that. And apparently they did actually get back together briefly because Sarah was at the recording session, but they divorced a year or so later. So this song is a bit of a mixture of kind of story songs, adventure songs, and personal heartbreak, and but then some uplifting songs like Mozambique to balance it all out. This is in my top 3 Dylan albums of all time, along with Blood on the Tracks and Street Legal, probably. And those 3, which came out back to back, if you can believe it. Amazing continuity, amazing consistency. And so it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Thanks for watching. See you next time.